Okay, there we go. I think we are live in the correct one now. I tried to start the live stream a bit different now, see how that works, but I think I accidentally created a bunch of streams. This one, oh yeah, okay, so this one is private, so let's just delete that one, yes. Okay, so now we have one thing here, so I'm just gonna go in there and check if it works. And seems to be working. Yeah, it's working. Okay, good. There we go. Yes. So we yeah, I had a little break here. We just got done with implementing scene transitions. So we can, for example, load in this scene and start it up, and we can try to enable our controller, see if it works now. There we go. So we can go to the edge here to load in the different scene. However, this, as you can see there was a bug. Well, I guess it's hard to tell unless you know what's going on. But if I want to enter from or exit in one way, I want to enter from that way. But the first time you actually do this, if you enter this part, it's entering from the wrong direction, and I have no idea why it does that, because I've checked all the data is supposed to be okay. And let's check to see what happens if we enter the other way. Here. I might have to log. Yeah, they get the same like place. I might have to log like where that happens, like at that moment. But there's a couple of so there's a couple of different lagging points. That I want to do. So I want to fix a couple of things. So one thing that I want to fix is whenever, well, one thing that's really super easy to fix is like have a hotkey for the play button in the scene menu. So we can add a handler for that. Let's just add like an if here. So if is key down, or is key pressed, I guess it's more correct. And this is, I want to do F5. If F5 is pressed, then I want to start the game. So I want to play. Alright, that was very easy implementation. So now you can simply press the F5 key and it should launch the game. And of course there's an issue here for some reason. Cannot up. Oh, sorry, I forgot to close down the editor. There we go. And I will load up the scene, and I press F5, and now I launch the game. So that's a really nice addition there, and very simple to do. So next up is whenever I start this editor, I want to load in the scene file that I already had open, so I don't have to reload it every time if I'm testing one thing. So we are already doing that for the tile map. So I'm just gonna copy that functionality real quick. It's not really scalable doing it this way, but since we only have 2 types of documents, I'm just gonna copy this functionality. So we have current file name. This file name is actually specifically for the tile map, and I really should probably rename this to tile map file name, because it's really only for that. So let's add one for the scene as well. And well, in the future I want to have, like, you can have multiple things opened if you want, but this is the current one though. But you want to be able to have like multiple documents open at the same time and be able to switch between them and stuff like that. But this is where we are, this is where we stand right now. So then I guess we'll do the same thing for this one here. And I'm just gonna check everywhere. So here we have set current file name, set current tile map file name, and I guess we'll do the same for scene. Okay. What else are we doing with this one? Yeah, so here we're saving a file. We should really name this tile map, and this one also save file tile maps, just so we can differentiate it more easily here. Let's see, what else can we do? We want to check then. Yeah, so we do want to have this sort of thing for the scene as well now. So let's go to save file scene, and we'll do this. And if we have current scene file name, then we want to save file scene to this. So that's a shortcut. When we already have a scene file open and we click save, we don't have the you don't have to specify which file you want to save to. We already know which file you're saving to, and we don't have a save as thing right now, but that should be good there. Okay, what else are we doing here? We are also, of course, doing this thing, so we should do that the same thing here. Now let's actually see here what we're doing. So yeah, because here we need to check for scene.json, and this is scene there, and then this one is going to be current scene file name, and then this one is going to be current scene file name, like that. And we don't actually do this, no, there. So we do the same thing there as well. Okay. Now what else are we doing? Create editor session, right? So the editor session is where we store the actual data that's going to be restored. So this is also very important here. So we should probably rename this now as well, and that will invalidate our current session, but it will be fine. And then we also add this one. Okay. And we need to add this as well. Okay. Let's see, what else are we doing here? So this is in restore session, right? So the thing is here, we actually, this also comes into play where we want to restore, when we restore a scene, like, because we're in different modes. We're in the scene editor mode or in the time map editor mode. If we are in the time map editor mode, we want to open the time map file that we have. But if we're in the scene editor mode, we want to also open the scene file. So also this is only for time map, and this is only for time map as well, I believe. Yes. All right. And we should also set the scene file into null there. Okay. This is that. So open file scene and open file. So this is also open file time map. And that should not be different here. The thing that's different is going to be here. And in here we are setting stuff. Yeah, so we want to set the file name also here at the end. Wait, where is it? Of this one. I believe this is open file scene, yeah. So here we want to set current scene file name. Okay. Is there anything else we're looking at that's different? I don't think so, but let's just double check here. No, that looks, well, actually, oh yeah, because we have an input here that's different. Okay, that we don't have that in the scene. Okay, and now we do make a new one if this fails, so that's fine. Yeah, so this should have the same logic as that one, which should be fine. Okay. Yeah. Now, and store session should be the same. Restore session though. Yeah, so here we can do the same thing here for the scene file. And this is not how it's gonna look later, but it's just now when we wanna make this work here for us. And we're kind of emerging like a pattern here that we can see, but I know that this is gonna be changed in the future, but this is how it looks right now, so. Okay, so that looks good. Are we setting the current file name in here? Yes, we are. Okay. Let me just double check now if we're doing the same thing here. Yes, create editor session. Yeah, and now we're back in restore session, which should be the same. And now we're back there. So I think we covered all of these things now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we should actually be able to restore the scene as well. That was actually, well, we don't know if it works, but it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Of course, it crashes. Are we crashing because the session is not, yeah. So actually I want to also now implement, if the session is like the wrong version or whatever, then we just scrap the session and you have to redo everything. So this, so it doesn't crash. And when we restore the session, we are loading the scene document. Oh yeah, we're loading in these textures, that's right. I mean, that's fine. We're creating, okay, yeah, we're creating this entity here. I guess that's fine. When we open this, do we actually, yeah, we are initializing it, so that's fine. Yeah, so we're basically creating, like, this is basically initializing the scene here so that it will not fail. Here we are creating the session, or we are opening this, we're reading the session file name. And we are doing this. We should now, instead of doing try here, I think what we want to do is we want to catch that. Well, let's see. Do we want to catch that here or move it out? We probably want to move it out because a lot of things can go wrong in here. Well, if we crash at this part, what will happen then? This is only crashable because of this dupe here, so that's not really high. That's not really gonna be high. How to say it? Risk, really, of happening. Otherwise, this should not fail. This could fail, of course, because the file might not exist. Okay, but anyway, I'm trying to figure out, like, what can happen down the line here when it could fail. So let's say we read the session, but we don't find these files. Well, if you don't find the files, then they should be like this. Right, if the file is not found, then we create a new file. So that should be fine. Otherwise, it's like it cannot read the file, or it's like the wrong format or whatever. Yeah, but then it also returns new. So where does it actually, does this actually have an error? Yeah, because we can return something else here. I guess it's whenever you have some problem with the file system is where this can go wrong. And then we don't have any other, well, we have this, but this is just out of memory error. So we don't really have another error, like possibility of error in here. So I'm just gonna say we'll go to main, and if we cannot restore session, actually we just log this out here, but we did crash, so I'm not sure why that crashed though. Actually, let's look at why it crashed. It's trying to draw this entity that doesn't exist, I guess, maybe. The scene entity, the scene document draw entity. So let's go in here and see. It should do these things. Wait, where was that thing? No, this was... Wait. Oh, did it disappear? Let's just see if I can run it again. Yeah, it's crashing immediately. So... yeah, missing field. So it's like... yeah, it's complaining about missing field, but then it goes ahead and does things anyway. Because that's how it works. And I guess we are loading in the scene. Then somehow the entity does not work. So is it the scene doc? No, the scene document should be fine. Is it the entity dereferencing here? Maybe. Perhaps. Maybe it's actually the tile map that doesn't work properly here. No, but this could be, this is just nullable. Right, we're going through all these entities, but seems like so we might actually get down here to this part, and then it fails because the types are different, and then it goes back out. But then why would that fail this part? Maybe we should wait with this. Not really anything else happening in here. I don't really understand why this is not working. And I'm trying to stare at the issue and have the answer come to me magically, but it's not happening. So because this all works, we're getting these all things happening. This all things has happened, and then it goes over here, tries to read this, and it fails, right? And then we show that missing field. That's JSON parse error. So it has to be this part that fails. I mean, it could be this part also, I guess. If it goes in here, it finds the file, it starts to read. We deinitialize the document. I mean, okay, maybe that's the issue, actually. If we deinitialize it, but then we deinitialize this array list. And we set it to undefined, so it still keeps its old like state. So if you try to use it after this, it's gonna fail, of course. Well, most likely. And probably that's what's happening here. Maybe that's what's happening. We get in here, we fail here. But if we fail here, it says error reading file. So that's not happening, maybe. Yeah. Missing field, so it goes out of here. It runs this thing. Yeah, I don't know actually why it doesn't work. It should work, but it doesn't, so it should work. Okay. Let's just check this. So we should be getting in here as well then. Error reading file. It catches all errors here, so it's not the deserialized that's causing the issue. This just returns this straight off. So is there anything else down the line that's no? So it's really weird that it doesn't work. I don't know. Let's see. Let's restore session. Actually, you know what? Are we using the same allocator here? Because yeah. This one uses time map arena allocator. This is one of the things that are, maybe I've done it really convoluted way. But I'm using an arena allocator for the time map because there's a lot of different small things happening there. So it was just easier to do that. But that also means that we are now sort of mixing allocators. So we have two different allocators and you have to know which one to use at which time. So basically anything that has to do with the time map, you use the time map allocator. Everything else is the C or the context.allocator. And this guy uses the normal allocator here. This one also uses the normal allocator. So I guess we can go through and see if we are using that time map arena somewhere where we shouldn't be doing that. The history, yeah, that should be fine. Undo, redo. Yeah, that's the action. Yeah. And that's it, I think. Create file data. So this is really for the time map. And this is also time map. Free file data. This is also time map. Okay. Let's actually check where this is used. This one is used here. I guess we could want to have one for, like, one triple of these functions for the scene as well. But then this is the allocator. And the initialize function doesn't take anything, so we don't need that. And we don't need these. Whoops. We don't need that. And then this one is actually, we don't really need to do anything. Well, actually, we do have the scene document. This one is not a pointer. This one is a pointer. So I guess we could make it a pointer. And this would be undefined. Then, yeah, we're doing that. We also want to say load here. And what else? Oh yeah, we want to create like the time map as well. There, the time map entity. So we're freeing, that just means, yeah, we deinitialize this. And we also do destroy scene document. Okay. Okay, so now we have those. I'm gonna check. This is called from here, so let's do the same. Well, actually, this is new file time map. So here we want to say set free scene data. So then we don't need to do that. Then we want to say this is equal to create default scene data. Okay. Now that's good. All right. So here we have open file time map. Here we say this is equal to deserialize. Right, but this deserialize creates a pointer. So I guess we want to do the same thing for the time map then. Or the scene, I mean. So this one now should return a pointer. And wait, let's open up the timer documents. Oops. Oh, this one just does this. Okay. But I mean, what we could do is we could say scene document is allocated create scene document catch, or I guess we'll do a try. and then scene document is equal to scene document of initialize. There. Okay. And we go back to context. So we don't want to deinitialize. I think we want to call free here. Maybe free file data instead. Let's see what we're doing up in the time app. Yeah, we're calling free here instead. So let's go back here. So free scene instead. Make sure everything is done correctly there. We're also calling it here, and we should call now free scene file data instead. Yeah, now this is the only place where we call that. Great. A lot of things to keep track of here. But I think we are nearing the end, hopefully. It just needs basically to match the time map functionality, and then it should work fine because the time map functionality works okay. Actually, so yeah. Okay, so restore session is a bit different now. We don't need to load and do all this. We do need to do this in, so we'll skip load, but we do need to copy this into, or move this into the, whatever it's called, create scene data. And yeah, we'll do that. Oh, got some errors here. Oh, so this, well, let's just catch an original here. And here as well. It's just gonna be out of memory errors. What's this? Oh yeah, let's remove the try. Okay. I need to pour some water here. All right. A bit sore throat. Or dry after a cold. Okay. I guess we can try this now. Nope, still crashes. Okay, still the same issue here. Well, actually it's a bit different now. I don't know if that's good or bad, but layout 30. Yeah, context mode, draw scene. I'm not sure why it's like here, it's failing here. It feels weird. It might be something to do with like what things you are requesting from the context that it's like trying to sort of optimize into doing. So we're looking at scene document, and oh, maybe the scene document doesn't exist or something like that, and we need to make sure that scene document actually exists. So let's go into main actually and see. So we just do initialize. This doesn't really do anything for loading the things, the scene. It's gonna happen in restore session actually. Here we're actually loading example time map. Oh yeah, that's the, actually this is the tile set, right? Yeah, we're loading the tile set, not the tile map. Tile set. Load tile set, I guess. And this is gonna happen in this part. I also want to check. Could not restore session missing field. So it's still like this issue here, and once that happens, it's like you don't get down here to new file map. But maybe we actually want to catch this error here and try to create sort of a base state that we can use. So if we get here, we want to try new time map, self.new time map, and also new scene. And we can also do a log error here. Error could not restore session, could not read session. Like this, perhaps. And wait, incompatible types. Parsed and void. Oh yeah, so we should probably just return after that here, because we don't want to do much else, because we don't have window size, we don't have position, we don't have anything else. So because we don't have any session that we have restored. I mean, it would be nice if you could read in sort of an optional and restore whatever you could restore, but yeah. So now this should make this, no, we still get some crash here. Okay, let's look at this. Well, yeah, we get this error, so that's fine. And I will still get the seg fault here. Unload texture. I was trying to unload the stuff when we don't have it. I see. Yeah. So maybe we should actually just do this. Since we're restoring the session, it should be the first time. Maybe this should be like nullables, because then we eliminate this sort of issue altogether. But then if they're nullables, it's gonna be like you have to check if it's null everywhere, and that's gonna be really annoying. Unless you make like an accessor that's like, yeah, we know that there should be a document, so you return the real thing there. Or we can have a bool flag that just says, is it loaded or not? Does it exist? Or we could just assume that when you restore the session, that's the first time you're doing that, so we know that we can just do this. Yeah. And this. Okay. Okay, so now we should be able to open this, hopefully. No. Okay. Well, we get somewhere else now. It's trying to append stuff. Context 134. Yeah, okay, so it cannot do this for some reason. Okay. Oh, of course. This should be pointer. That explains it. There we go. Okay, so we need to resize this a little bit, so we get the correct size there. Okay, so you can see now we don't start with the time map, but let's say we set the time map to something there, and yeah, let's actually just well, yeah, and then let's see if we can open this scene now there, and let's quit and reopen, and now it fails. Okay, interesting. Okay. Right, it's probably the same issue here, because we don't have anything yet, but it tries to free it up anyways. Let's see, where are we? 361. Yeah, it's like this is what the first time it's gonna be initialized, so we don't want to deinitialize it. So it's like we probably do need to have just like a bool in here and see, is it actually initialized? Let's just do that. Let's just do it that easy way, initialized. Or let's do like, is it, yeah, whatever, false. And I guess we'll do the same thing for time at document. And so in here we're gonna check if initialized is false, we just return. And then down here we say initialize is false. Okay, I guess populated would be more correct maybe, or allocated, or yeah, I don't know, but that should be good. And then over here we also do the same thing here, so if self dot time up initialized, no, then we return, and in the end we say false. Okay, and when do we set it to true? Well, we want to set it to true whenever we create a new file or when we open the file. And we do it in here. And same thing for the scene. Oops. There. Okay, and now we should actually, there shouldn't be an issue when restoring session to actually use, instead of this, we do new file. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue now. Okay, so try. There we go. Okay, awesome. That really helps. So we restored the session into the scene that we were in. That's really nice. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to say whenever we open a new scene, so now I want to open the test village, but the tile map doesn't actually change now. So that's what I want to change. I want the tile map to actually change into the tile map that we want, that we actually have in the scene, so that you can switch between the scenes without having to set the tile map to whatever tile map it needs to be. So we want to do that. So how do we do that? Well, whenever we open a new scene, or I guess whenever we create a new scene file, we probably want to also create a new tile map as well, or we want to clear that off. Because we have a new scene, we don't really want to see the tile map of whatever was from before. If we, I guess if we're in the scene editor, I guess we want to do that. I guess we only want to do this if we are... Actually, let's do this. So if mode is scene, then we also do new tile map. Okay. So that if I load this in now, if I start this up and I click, oh, we don't actually have a new button. So let's add that as well, because that should be really easy now. So we have scene menu there. Let's do new first. And it should be new file scene. And oh yeah, we're opening up the village here. Let's open up the test just to see, have it look better. Okay, so let's click new and you get a new scene. So really nice. And then we can open up the old scene, but the tile map is still gone. So whenever we open a new scene, and that we can, I guess we can only do that through the scene mode, but let's actually have a check here as well. So if the mode is scene, then we want to do so now we want to hunt for the entities in the scene for the tile map. So we want to grab the tile map in the scene. I guess we could make it like a helper function for that, if we don't already have one. Oh. So let's actually do that. Let's do a helper function here, which is going to be get tile map, get tile map file name, and this is scene document, and just we'll return that. So we'll just check for entities items entity if entity dot type equals time map. Well, we'll do a switch actually, because then we can grab the time map up like this, and then we'll say return time map dot file name, I believe. Yes, but it's nullable. It shouldn't be nullable, really. Why did I set it? Because we don't have it from the start. I mean, I guess that's technically true, but when we want to grab it, I guess it's nullable then. Okay. And if we don't have one, I guess this will be null as well. Okay. I mean, in the future, we're gonna be able to have more than one tile map per scene, so that you can build different time maps and then kind of puzzle them together in a scene. But for now we can only have one, and now we can get the time map file name, and well, I guess we can do an if here. If we get this, we get the file name, and then can we do with this now? So we want to open this now. So we want to do open time map here. Let's try. Shadows the function. Okay, this is time map file name. And so if it's not, then we continue. Okay, so now it should switch, hopefully, the tile map whenever you switch the scene. And there we go. Awesome. And then I can make a new one, and I can open this again, and I can switch to the other scene. Awesome. Okay. So another thing that I think is pretty cool to have is whenever you maybe you want to go to the scene where, so this would be really easy now to actually implement a button when you have this selected, to actually go to the scene where this exit will end up. So let's go to layout, and this is also why I like to build these tools, because you can just imagine this sort of nice feature that you want, and then you can just go ahead and implement it. So that's really nice, and it's fun to build stuff, and it's really rewarding when it works as well. Okay, so test village. Now I want to have a button here that says like go to that. Let's have that maybe just at the same place, maybe. So we have set time up here. We have, that's the button. And where is, no, that's time map. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the target. So if we yeah, if we have a file name, we show it, and then we can also do same line. Well, actually, let's not do it same line. Let's do if button go to scene, I guess go to target, and maybe open target scene. So if you click on this, what we want to do is we want to say context open scene file. Well, not we want to open scene. Wait. Oh, is that not available? That's not public. This should be public. Yeah. Open the scene file, and the scene file is going to be this. I guess we'll try it. Okay. Cool. So that should be it for that. So now we get a button here and we click that. We actually go to the place or the scene that we want to go to. Maybe we can even go and select the entrance that it's connected to. That's going way above. Now we can switch between the scenes that we are going through. Maybe in the future we'll have like a map of every scene that you have connected, and you can sort of get a sense of the whole thing. But this should be really nice to start with. Yeah, I mean that really picked up speed once we solved these issues. Okay, so what else can we do? Let's try starting as well. I want to try to go on the left side here and see if that bug, I mean, it's gonna be there. So the bug is that when you exit on the left, we should really be seeing, what we want to see is you arrive from the right on the next screen, but what's gonna happen is it's gonna arrive on the left side instead. Oh, actually it didn't. Okay, but then let's check now this one, because this is the one that actually bugs. So maybe the village doesn't bug in that sense. Let's see if this one does. Or maybe the bug has been magically fixed somehow without me doing anything. That's not a good thing. There you see, it actually works now. Okay. Interesting. I almost said a Swedish word there instead of English, so that shows I'm a little bit tired here. Okay, but anyway. Oh, and now that actually crashed on me. So interesting. I wonder why that crashed now. Allocation size does not. Oh, wait. Is that why it crashed? Right. So which? It's an array list that is messing up here. So this is a sign that I'm using the wrong allocator, maybe, to do this. Self entities, deinitialize allocator, okay. Or it might be that we're using invalid memory. But we shouldn't be doing that, because we already had a scene loaded, so it should be fine. It's going down here, it's deserializing. I guess it failed in the free 269, yeah. So it failed in here. I'm just double checking which allocator I'm using here. Scene is initialized. I mean, we might be using something else. Let's check this. We are doing this. Select entity. Wait, that's selected entities though. That's not the issue, right? No, it's the entities. Yeah. Yeah, that's selected entities. It's this part, but it's the same allocator, so I don't really know what's happening here. Unless we are freeing, no, we're freeing with the same thing. What was it, 269? Self.allocator, yes. Yeah, I'm really starting to get tired now. These kind of problems really get your brain mushy and ready for bed. Like when you're yeah, trying to figure it out, but it's like really hard to get anywhere. So maybe that's not the issue, that it's a different allocator though. I'm gonna have to look at this here, this reader, everything here, like, yeah, because time map arena, like if we just look at the references on this one, we have this is the time map allocator, so that's fine. We have this is where we make a time map document, so that's fine. Here we have history, push, self, time map allocator, I guess that's fine. Undo is the same thing, redo, same thing here. This is like the action stuff, that's only for time maps, so that shouldn't have anything to do with this. Same thing there, same thing there, and here we are actually, yeah, we're using resize, that should be fine. Add layer, so we're not actually doing any of these things because we are in the scene editor and not the time map editor. And we have the brush, we have select, so there's not going to be any tools. So I don't really understand why there's an issue here. I mean, maybe somewhere I'm using the allocators wrong, and that's why we have this error. Let's actually check this select thing. That got me a little bit interested. So select entity. So clear retaining capacity. So this one sets items length to 0. Yes. That's good. But it's this entities that actually is the issue. Self.entities. This one. Right. I mean, that should be fine. Actually, maybe it's not fine. Maybe we should just initialize it with some capacity here instead. Because it's like, is this gonna be an issue? Like, when you do this, the buffer is stored here, so when you do deinitialize, it frees this, which is read-only memory. So I think that's actually an error. Yeah, the buffer determines capacity initialized with externally managed memory. When initialized on except an allocated argument cause illegal behavior. Wait, the buffer determines the capacity and the length is set to 0. When initialized this way, all functions that accept an allocated argument cause illegal behavior. What? So how do you use it then? Do you have to like raise the... I mean, I don't know. Let's just do init capacity to not deal with that. But then that means we actually need an allocator here, but that should be fine. The size is still gonna be 0, I guess. So what is the slice set to then? Yeah, it's still set to this. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's a difference between this type and the one that I had. Whatever. Let's just set the capacity to be like something like 10 or something. Okay. And we should catch unreachable here as well. Alright. Now we need an allocator here as well. And we have 2 places. Right, deserialize. And this. Okay, it's gonna be a bit hard to test if this actually works because it seems to be something that doesn't really happen that often. But let's try like selecting and going over here. We open this scene. Maybe we drag this around a little bit. Maybe we create couple of things, we delete, we go over here. Okay, anyway, where were we? yeah, I was checking for this. This is left, this is right. This goes to left. This goes to right. Okay. This goes to right. This is left. This is right. This goes to left. And this goes to right. Okay. And if we if we start now, this one should go to the left now. Yeah. So that's the bug. And I have no idea why it happens. And let's start over here. And it's also very consistent. It actually starts correctly. Yeah. Let's try the... Well, let's go over this way. Oh, now it fails. Maybe it's like once you've opened the game. That's a weird condition though. Wait. Where's the error? Here we go. Wait, this is like imgui. I've never seen this. It's probably just a pointer that's incorrect somewhere here. Okay, so this is the the multi-line thing. 121. Okay. The selected entity metadata value. Maybe it's like between. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's try something then. Let's select something and then... Well, actually, I mean, you have to have something selected and when you go to the next scene. Let's try and launch this, exit out, then go. Now it still works. What if you have it selected? You click play, exit, then... Okay, maybe that's the issue. Let's try this more controlled here. This, play, exit, open. No, it still works. Maybe it's just after enough times it starts to fail. There we go. How many times was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, this is way too much. Yeah. I don't know, it seems to happen like after you start the game. Maybe. Or maybe it's just completely random. There we go. Interesting. So it's the same issue here. The thing is, the selected entities are, I think, yeah, they're being like cleared out once you open a new scene. So yeah, but then it fails. Here, is this the same issue? Yeah, and it's like a segfault. Yeah, we don't need width, so I'm gonna guess it's like the text. That's the issue. So the text for the multiline. Right, that's the label, that's right. Maybe it's actually like a conflict, these IDs. I'm not sure how IMGUI works, if like, as long as you have the same ID, as like between frames or whatever you want to call it, like main loops, if the registry of IDs are like cleared, but they can't be because they need to keep track of things like click events, for example. That happens. Yeah, that happens during multiple frames. The whole point of IDs is to have them stored over multiple frames. So I guess they have to be unique. So is this even feasible to do it like this? I mean, it's good. It's the same input. The buffer might change. Maybe that's kind of an issue. Maybe that's the issue. Like, you need the ID to be sort of unique to each buffer as well. So maybe we should do pointer ID here instead. Tree push pointer ID. Okay, let's do pointer ID. And the pointer is like, I mean, it's just gonna be the same here. Excuse me. So let's just hope this works, because I'm not sure like how to actually, like, it should be the same one by just switching this around a little bit, and then maybe moving between scenes. Let's also start this just to have things happen more chaotically here. Start this one, go over here, start this place, go over here. Huh. Okay, now it seems to not crash anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we actually did get a crash, so maybe that was not the issue then. Or maybe it's something else now. No, still the same place. I don't know. Scene document menu. Yeah, multi-line. And we can't really go and look at the source code because it's in C. Well, we can go and look at source code, but I don't want to. Okay, I guess we will maybe have to live with that for now. That's really annoying. I mean, it has to be my fault that it's happening, but I just cannot understand how to solve this issue. I mean, I know it has to be something with... I mean, maybe actually it's just as easy as this pointer is just invalid. Wait. This one is a pointer. So it really should fail here if it's actually... Well, maybe it doesn't fail at there. Maybe it fails like where this points to. But this is actually, this is just a buffer. Maybe that's the issue though. It's getting like garbage. Maybe it's like getting garbage because it's not copied properly. Maybe that's the issue. Like when we like what happens when we deserialize? We do a buff print set. Which should print it correctly. I guess, do we get an error printing value? No. It's either something with that. I mean, it could just be this whole thing, like you cannot actually return this object like this because it's not gonna be copied properly. And it's basically pure luck that it actually works. But it's like, I mean, if we do this and we do this, then this, I think this right now should be, I mean, it looks like it still works. So I don't understand how it just fails like just randomly. Oops. As I said, this is really a problem that really massages your brain. And oftentimes like get stuck like this and just stare at the code a whole bunch of times. But sometimes it helps just to walk away and... But the thing is that now this code is so... Like you have to find where the issue is. You have to look. You have to be a detective. And one thing that's standing out as well is this selected stuff. Is this pointer really pointing to... Is it always gonna be pointing to this valid space? I mean, what's bothering me is like it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything weird to make this pointer invalid. One thing that could be is when this is deinitialized, the length might be still more than 0. Because it just frees it. It doesn't set the length to 0 in the initialize. So it could very well be that you get in here when it's not valid memory anymore. And it's like a race condition that you get in here and it crashes because of that. And that's annoying. So I think what we'll do is we'll check references here and we look for deinitialize, which is over here, and when we do that, I think we also want to clear it. What was that function called? Clear. I mean, we can go clear and free, I guess, instead. Okay, here we go. Let's use that instead. So that's a lot more safe to use. Okay. And of course we get an error on launch now instead. What? Wait. So main 27, yes, of course. Then we try to open a file, and the file is apparently not absolute. What? Uh, 256. No. Wait, no, contexts. File name. I mean, why does this suddenly become a problem? It has not been a problem before. Session. It is. Oh, what the hell? Oh, this. Okay, I understand now. It's 170 all the way. Okay. Interesting. So that is indicative of not being able to copy the value when passing it around in functions. So but this is now a pointer though. no, the file name. No, it's not a pointer. We are freeing that. Here we should really set this also to but I don't think that's the issue here. Shouldn't this also free the current file name? I mean, we are doing it here, but... Okay, I don't understand how we got to that point. Let's just remove the session. Actually, you know what? When this error occurs, like it's complaining about the path is not absolute, so that should also be an invalid session. At least for that part. So when we restore the session, we could actually grab that error. So this error happens in here. And I guess in the time map as well. So it could be not found. Let's also catch whatever it was called. What is it? File open error and absolute non-relative path. What was the actual error? Oh, it's not an error actually. It's a panic. Why? Why is that a panic? Okay. So I guess we can't catch it. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, unless we want to check for it before, but... Or we can, I guess we could use this. But it's gonna be like some sort of error as well. I guess. I mean, let's just try it. Because I think you can open absolute paths with that as well. And there's some sort of error. Okay, now we get a seg fault. Probably... Wait, are we logging any errors? Could not restore session, invalid, WTF8. So, that's also... I think this is from main. Yeah. So if we get invalid blah blah blah, I think what we do is whatever error we get, we actually don't care whatever error it is. Let's just do, let's just log it out. Error could not read or open file. Open file and the file name and the error, the file name and the error. So we can't open the file, so we log that, right? And then we just do this. And we don't switch on error. So if there's any sort of error, we catch it, we log the error for that file name, and we just return a new scene there. Let's do the same for the time map as well. Where is that? Open time map. Here. So let's do the same thing there. But we want to do this instead. Whoops, why is it now only... Oh, because we return as well. There. Okay. So now if there's an error loading the scene, we actually just start from a blank slate instead, so that's fine. And let's open the scene now. And let's quit. And now I want to see, what does it actually say here in our session? No, now it says the correct thing, so okay. And we can go here, we can go here, we can start game, exit, we can go here. I mean, I'm not sure if this has fixed anything, but at least we solved some hidden issues. Oh, there we go, now we get the crash again. And it's the same place. Well, at least it's consistent. Let's look at this more closely, I guess. So it's like a random segfault, which tells me that it might be just, you know, the text pointer, and it starts to try and read from that pointer, which points to like some garbage place, and then you get a segfault. Because we are in this text thing, and the text is a pointer to somewhere, so... And the pointer that we are sending is layout is this pointer. So it's still this issue here. Oh yeah, we were trying to see if this actually, if this was gonna be like an invalid thing. And I guess it would be if you deinitialize the document itself. Actually, let's check this. Selected entities. What are we doing in deinitialize here? So we are doing clear and free, and that should be very, very good to do. Are we doing anything else with this? Let's see. So we have init buffer. But that should be 0 entities. Here we do clear, retaining, capacity, and append. That should be fine because we're not changing the pointer. And if it does have capacity, then we can reuse it. If it doesn't have capacity, then nothing happens basically, because it already is cleared. So this, it should be safe to use like this. Okay. Because, I mean, I guess this is the thing that we're using very often now. It's like we're selecting an entity, we're selecting an entity. So it's clearing the entities, and then we're appending a new one. And that what it basically does is just sets it to the lengths to 0 anyway, so... Yeah, the capacity should be reset as well, and index of scalar. What's happening here? We're looking for what? The entity? In selected entities. Okay, sure. That shouldn't be a problem. The swap remove, well, that's only for delete, and we're not really doing delete, so that should be fine. We're checking if the item's length is more than 0. And now we hopefully can assume that that means that we can look at the items. Right? Wait. Wait. The clear and free. Yeah, it sets the slice length to 0. Yeah, so that, I mean, that should be cool. And here we're looping through in the same context. This one, yeah, this is the drag thing, so that shouldn't be an issue because we're not doing that. Delete entity we shouldn't care about. This one is probably not an issue then. This is just for shortcuts there. Okay, so I don't really understand what is happening. I mean, it might be that it's initialized in some other way, like the deserialize thing here. So we're deserializing, we're initializing the document. This one should just, you know, it initializes the new scene and it initializes this. I mean, unless, and this actually does capacity, so this one sets it to 0 and stuff, and then we ensure that capacity to 10, and then so the capacity is set to 0, so it should be going in here and doing resize and stuff, right? Maybe if the old memory is not deinitialized from before and you're using garbage data, but then it's not, it should be okay to use anyway. Okay, I'm just grasping here, really. This issue is, this is like the hardest issue I've been working on here. It feels like, at least in terms of how, like, it's just like a minor issue and it's really annoying, and it feels like I'm close to solving it, but it could, it's like one of those issues that you can spend a lot of time with, but then you don't really gain much, but it's really annoying if you have done a bunch of stuff and then all of a sudden you get a crash and you have to redo a bunch of work. And it seems to happen pretty consistently after some time has passed, or after you've done some stuff in the editor and moved around and switched between scenes a bit. Then it seems to happen like randomly. Sometimes it happens quick, sometimes it happens not so quick, but it seems to always happen inevitably. So wait, maybe this is like the same issue. Maybe we should do, we need capacity here as well. Let's do, I mean, let's just do 10, I guess. And catch on each other as well. Okay, I just want to see if this is set anywhere else to something. Okay, I'm just gonna look for init buffer because this obviously is a bad thing to do. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about these places. Was it crashing immediately? No, this is where it also seemed to happen after you start the game and then try to do more things. More often than not. Let's try and do this. We'll select a bunch of different things. We'll open this. Okay. It's also like you never know if it's still there. There we go. Okay. So I mean, it seems to be pretty consistent though. But it's like you never know. Oh, is it fixed now, or do I have to do it like 10 more times? See, same issue. Okay, same issue again. It has to be. And I guess it could be this one. No, but it is failing at. This part, the size, so it doesn't really have to do anything with the ID. Yeah. Yeah, this is really exciting stuff. Okay. I mean, these are pointers as well, so whenever we append something, it's also where it could be an issue. Like here, we are appending this entity. Where does this come from? This entity here. This comes from the entity list. So let's check this as well. Let's check where we actually do it, deinitialize this. So here we deinitialize the thing. Here we also need to do clear and free. Okay, this is a new paradigm. Never use deinitialize only. Always use clear and free on the array list unmanaged. I'm not sure about our ordinary array lists. Okay, so let's check for delete. I don't think it finds anything else here. Yeah, now it just loops through things. Swap remove, that should be fine. Append the entity. Yeah. And this one is created here, so okay. Okay, so let's try again. I'm hopeful, but you know, we might be moving on to something else. So it seems to be some sort of race condition. So if I just keep on doing this, it should fail at some point. Let's just open this up. I'm not sure if that actually does anything. It just may be something that messes up the timing of things. And man, I thought that we would have it there. Okay. Maybe it's like something really stupid as well, but yeah, still the same issue. Okay, let's go even deeper then. Right, layout. So, I mean, I guess, couldn't we just look at this one as well? This is just like a... buffer. Do we get like any other type of errors here? This one is there. So we print this onto... Right, we're printing the key there, new key. And it shouldn't be this one, right? This is just when you create a new entity. The key is there. Wait, is that the same thing? Oh yeah, because it's like a value of the thing. Okay. Okay, and now let's check metadata. That's the only place. I mean, I'm just thinking that it's like this, and this pointer points to somewhere else, like some garbage place. Then this buffer is part of that place. I don't know. It might be like it's a huge struct. It's like 1 kilobyte. So I'm not sure if that actually gets stored correctly here. I mean, I've seen really more size stuff being used in standard library, so this shouldn't be that an issue. But the issue that I'm thinking of is maybe when you copy this around. For example, when this is created here, like here, we create this like this, and then we buff print into that, and then we return. So that might not be able to actually copy this correctly, is what I'm thinking. I had that suspicion from the start, and that might actually be the issue here, that it's not able to do that. So when then what is it, when, yeah, this could actually be the issue, because in this case, if we return just garbage here, the garbage data can not have a null terminator in a while. So it's gonna keep on reading all the bytes. It's gonna reach a null pointer. Well, it doesn't actually reach a null pointer. It's reaching some invalid memory and then it crashes. So that's my guess here. That is my guess. And maybe we can solve it by making this like inline. I don't know. Pub inline, maybe? Is that a compiler error? Because if it's inline, then I'm thinking that maybe it will copy it correctly, but I don't know. Maybe it will do nothing. Let's just try and do this as many times as we can. Let's try and not open the play and see if we still get it. It's a fun game. Trying to crash the editor. Speedrun. No, still no crash. Let's try and go over to the other side. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out if there's like a consistent way of doing it, but let's actually try different things. Let's do this and then this. Okay. So is that consistent? Left, right, left or right? I mean, no, it's not consistent. Okay. So it is a race condition. Okay. Great. Not so great. Okay. Anyway, let's try to solve this. So yeah, it's the same issue here. Yes. Okay. Nice. Well, not so nice. I mean, it might still be this. It might still be this issue here. And this is why I don't like using this type of buffer, because it just doesn't play nice. It's not, you cannot copy it reliably, and you have these creeping bugs that show up in from nowhere. Well, assuming that that's the issue now. So okay. I mean, let's just make this into a pointer now. Okay. And I'm just gonna do this. Or I mean, yeah, this. Right? Well, will we deinitialize? We are not actually deinitializing this thing. But it's not really deinitializable, I guess. That's the whole point of it, actually. So this, however, we can do free on that. Yes. And also another thing about this is the whole point of doing it like that was to make it play nice with whatever, the imgui library. But now this is a pointer. Let's make it like this. It has to be 0 sentinel. And I guess what we could do is have it be initialized with some capacity. So if we add allocator here, we can initialize this with wait. Yeah, we do alloc sentinel. Yeah, okay, so that's like a safety measure now. So the element is U8. The size is gonna be, I'm just gonna say the same size there, and then sentinel 0. Okay, so now we have this buffer but in heap, and we can free it, so that's fine. I mean, I guess that's it. I guess that's all you actually need to do to make it work. Maybe we'll hope. Let's hope at least. Okay. What's happening? Oh, right. So now we can do this instead, and we don't even need to have it a pointer. It's actually a pointer itself. So let's do that. We also want to do this for the entrance key as well. If this works, that is. Consider using dot pointer. Okay, sure. And wait. Scars cost qualifier. Okay, let's try dot pointer as well. No. Oh, I don't understand. Isn't that what I'm... Oh, it's a const. Okay. So it shouldn't be const. It should be this. Catch unreachable. Yes. Scene entity, okay. Yeah, we're creating an entity. Okay. When you get to the end of solving like a bunch of compiler errors, often you... Oh, it couldn't load the thing for some reason. Maybe because it crashed. Okay, there we go. Now we got a crasher right away, so that's good. Search and fail, buff size. How? Wait. Where's the info here? Line, yeah, so show the code, please. Why is it not showing the code now when it did it before? Buff is not equal to 0 and buff size. So how does it know the size? Does it scan for the 0? I don't understand. This sets everything to undefined. And then the 0 at the end. May be required to call free once the memory is no longer needed to avoid a resource leak. I mean, of course, allocator implementation is unknown, then the correct code will call free when done. Well, how would you know which allocator to use? This feels like very old documentation. For allocating a single item secret, yeah. Oops. Okay. Yeah, we are freeing it. Go. That's the init. I'm just checking if we're manually creating this thing somewhere. I mean, we shouldn't, because then we should have gotten a compiler error. Okay. The length. Because this is the question, like, when you put this in here, how does it know the length? I mean, now we're putting in a slice here. Oh, it's doing this. I see. +1 for Sentinel. So this buffer actually needs to be set, like, it actually needs to have the length. But it does have the length, like 1024. So why does it complain though? Wait, it's more than or equal to 0 and it's not null. What's the issue here? I don't understand. Also, what is this? This is already nullable, so you can just pass this, right? Why do you need to do this if here? Okay, whatever. Buff pointer. Yeah. not equal to 0, so it's populated with something. The buff size is more than equal to 0. That should be true. Both of those should be true, right? I don't understand. Or are we... Is it being entered here before it's initialized? I don't know, man. Actually, maybe that is the issue. Like when we do restore... No, that can't be it. So here we only restore, I think, this part. We don't, like, selected entities, we don't actually restore. We only deserialize the scene. We don't, like, all other stuff is... Did it crash now, like straight away? No. I think it crashed when you try to open, no? Right, now it crashes as soon as you try to open a new thing. Okay, maybe that's the issue then. Oh, maybe now. That's the issue. But it's hard to see where this happens. I mean, we could do this. And this is marking. And now we join that, and we do substitute this with this. Oops. And now we open this, and then wait, that was the line. 4072. Yeah, input. Okay, so this is the normal input text. Okay. Yeah. So this makes sense actually, because when you open a new thing, all of a sudden maybe something is null now. Maybe it's this one actually. I don't know. Now, what I want to do is I also want to change this now. So let's actually just remove this whole thing. This was a bad idea. Okay. Now we can start this again. So we can go to the key here. And now this one is going to be the same thing here. So this is a U8. We are going to grab an allocator. And alloc with Sentinel U8 37 0. Okay. And now we can do this, and we don't have to do that. And what's happening here? Oh yeah, now this needs that. And catch unreachable again. There we go. We could also do this. We could do const key is equal to that. And then we buff print on that. And then we set this to key. And then we just return this straight off. That's a bit better. Okay, no more compiler errors. Okay, let's try this now. So let's open up this file. Select this. Okay, now that works. Let's exit out, open it again, see if we can load it. Okay, now let's. Okay, so now this crashes. I mean, at least something new is happening, right? Oh, we get this. This one is interesting. Right, now this happens. Wait. JSON. Wait, what's happening here? It's freeing. Free? Or is this like a memory? Wait, what's happening? No, we still get this assertion fail. Okay. I'm not sure what this is about. Maybe this was the issue all along, maybe. We get an allocation free thing. The free that's happening is here, I guess, then. In clear free. So maybe we are calling it at the wrong thing. Now where is this? Yes, I mean, it's super weird. It says allocated size 56 does not match free size 64. Allocation is from, I think this is like some JSON stuff. Okay. Right. Maybe that's the issue then. When we deserialize, we do leaky. we just set the scene to that. And we take it over basically. But then it's like, yeah, this is the issue with parsing this with Leaky. It's like you don't really know if you're gonna get all of the stuff in there. So that's why I opted to use like an arena allocator for the other thing, for the time map as well. So why would it be like different? Like you're using the same allocator to deallocate something. Maybe this like allocates something in a super weird way, and that makes it. But what you maybe could do then is incorporate an arena. Then so if we do this, if we say, let's say that scene has an arena which is like a nullable. Let's say, well, this is a arena allocator, and we set it to null. But when we deserialize, we actually, well, when we deinitialize, we actually don't want to call scene.deinitialize. Well, actually, maybe we do actually. Well, we do want to call it, but why is this so? Excuse me. Okay. Okay, last push here. So, I'm thinking that maybe we could use an arena. Maybe we can clone the thing and then clear the arena to get rid of all this residue that we have from the thing. So we could actually implement a clone function which gets us a scene pointer and we are a scene, and then we also need an allocator. Okay, so the idea here is that we deserialize the scene with JSON in an arena, and then we clone the result into a result that we can handle and modify. Then we can get rid of the JSON parsed thing with the arena, and now we have total control of the thing. So that's the plan. So we basically just create a cloned scene, or a scene clone, whatever. Create a scene, return scene clone. Okay, that's the basic premise, and then we basically just say this is scene.initialize, right? Also catch unreachable. Okay. Now scene. Now we need to set all the things. So basically, I mean, entities is already set to something here. So we basically just need to loop through all of our entities. No, self, not entities. What's happening here? Items. Okay. And then we need to clone those as well. So we need to do scene clone dot entities dot append entity dot clone. So we need to define clone on here as well. So let's do that. So this will be an entity, and then we have allocator, and then we return a pointer to a new entity. Well, it's not entity, it's scene entity, I guess. Yeah. And so we'll make this entity clone, and this can be allocated create scene entity, and then we return this clone, and then we want to set this to catch unreachable. We want to set this to scene entity initialize. And I guess position could be like self.position. What's happening? Why am I not getting this? Entity type. Yep, self. Type. But the type is also needs to be clonable. Because if it's one of these, we need to clone it as well. It's a little bit of a hassle here doing it this way, but I guess it's necessary. There might be a super easy way to do this, but I'm just gonna do it like this. And an allocator. Clone, it's going to be entity exit. Actually, you know what? Maybe we don't actually need to create like a pointer. We just need to return a new like value like this. Yeah, that makes way more sense. So we don't actually need to create a pointer. We just do this instead. And this one would be just dupe. I guess it's 0, it's dupe said. Catch unreachable. And then what else do we have? ID, position, yeah, type. So ID is just gonna be self.id because this is copyable. Yeah. And then type is going to be self.type.clone, which we don't have, but we are going to create it. So, but let's create these first. So now, actually, let's do this one as well. So this is not a pointer. we don't create it like this. We do this, I guess. Turn clone. And then we go through each entity, we append the clone. Yeah, that should be it for that. Oops. Okay. So we don't do this. We do return, exit. It's like sometimes you get the autocomplete, sometimes you don't. So this would be if self scene file name, we do allocator dupe on that, else no. Okay, and it's basically gonna be the same thing for these things. Key, except this one has a key, and it's not called entry, it's called, or exit, it's called entrance, and this one is called key, 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 and it's not zeros, is it? Yeah, it's zero something, so this needs to be dupe said. Okay, and then the time map as well. This one we do time map, time map, time map, and this one is file name. And it's not dupe said, it's just ordinary dupe. Okay. So, yes. Now we should have clone all the way, I think. Well, actually, this is missing. So let's make a clone function here, which returns, well, it has a self, and then return this again, and then we return switch self. If we are these things, we just return self. If we are exit, we return clone, so we need allocator as well. Okay. Right, and if we are entrance, we do the same thing, and if we are time map, we also do the same thing. Okay, that covers everything. Okay, now we have the ability to clone this. So when we deinitialize this, we're not going to use leaky here. Now this is the parsed version, and the scene is going to be clone now. Now we're gonna get a whole bunch of compiler errors here because we're using this code now. But scene, and then we just do the initialize on parsed right away. Okay. And of course something is going wrong here. Okay, yeah, so catch unreachable. Same thing here. And same thing here. Entity clone allocator. What's going on? Expected what? Oh, right. So this clone here. Oh, so here we actually do need to create a pointer to the entity. So we need to do clone entity. It's going to be allocated create scene entity. Then clone entity, the thing is going to be clone allocated. And then we put this in here. Okay. Cannot dereferences. Okay, yeah. Catch unreachable. Right. Expected optional type. Oh, this is not optional. Okay. So this is just going to be straight up this. And self.key. Okay, so we are done. I'm just gonna double check something because this list is a list of pointers, and when we deal with that, I want to check, like, we append a new entity like this. This is the, we clone it there. Okay, when we deinitialize it, we also destroy the entity itself, so that's good. But this part though, okay, yeah. So we go in, deinitialize each entity, we destroy it, and we also clear and free the container. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, we load it up nicely here. We can select these. Let's see if we can just change these around. Okay, that seems to work. Let's open this up, and of course it crashes again. So let's check what's happening. Okay, so way smaller error message now, but we still get the same issue here now. So I feel like we've gotten somewhere, but this still fails now. So let's check this out. So it's either that the buffer is null, or that the buff size, wait, is null, I guess, or 0. So that's an input text place. Let's go to, I mean, could it be that it's simply an issue of when we switch to a new scene and then later on in the same sort of frame we have like invalid things happening. Here we are opening this scene, right? Then we go down and we print this metadata. This selected entity is still the same entity, but now it's invalid in memory. So I think that's the issue we have right now. And that's maybe been the issue the entire time. It's like one frame, you get invalid stuff here. So actually, I think we just want to return here because we want, or at least, yeah, we just want to return here. Because we don't want to do anything else with this frame, actually. We just want to reload everything and we want to go our merry way. Any loose hanging pointers will be invalidated at this point. So that's a huge issue, actually. I just realized this. But it's nice that they are realized like immediately instead of you know, having this lingering thing that becomes a bug that you have to spend this entire evening on. So let's see. But at least I'm pretty sure that that's the issue now. Let's actually check there. Do we get a different issue now? We should be getting like a different issue, but I mean it could end up in the same position. But okay, we actually don't get any issue now. So I don't think actually opening the game actually does anything right now. Oh, so we do still have some sort of race condition here. Interesting. Is it the same thing? No, it's another thing. Okay. I think that's positive, I guess. Ah, the current scene file name. I see. Yeah, so I think this might also be the same issue. Maybe it's like one frame. No, wait. This is like when we open. This is like inside where we want to open the thing. We set it to a new thing where we copy. Okay, is this consistent? How many tries does this take? 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe it's not consistent actually. Maybe it's like after you do play. Maybe, I don't know. No, it's not. Okay, I wouldn't think so because that doesn't really affect it, I don't think. So we get a segfault, which means that this pointer is garbage now. And this one is more perplexing to me because, okay, hey, I do not, this is one of my issues with SIG. I don't know how to prevent haze race. Yeah. It's, yeah, race conditions are really, really hard. Hey, welcome. Yeah, I've been having a lot of issues with allocating stuff, and I've been trying to use like buffers, but they just cause issues in my opinion, or in my experience right now. Like, I'm not even sure if SIG is capable of copying things that has buffers in them, like, you know, just like a normal array, not like a slice. It just has a normal array and you pass it to a function. Does it actually know how to copy that properly? Like, I don't even know. So I just changed it out to use slices instead and to allocate them instead. I think it also maybe helps with finding out these issues like directly, instead of having these weird things happening at random times. But this one is strange, though. Why is that happening? Yeah. Do you have a project in SIG that you're working on, or? Usually the way I handle memory is to create separate spaces for threads so there are no contentions, but that doesn't always work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even using threads, so I just have a single thread, so yeah. I still run into issues with this, and especially around strings. Like, you know, sometimes I wonder if it's better to have like a global storage for all strings, and then you can just put strings in there and use them. I don't know. It just feels like it's always a question, like, where do I store this thing, and when do I dispose of it? I mean, I guess that's like manual garbage collection for you, but yeah, it's always the strings. Following welcome tutorial, what would SIG to create a 3D game engine? Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah. I've done a little bit like OpenGL, but not. Yeah, I'm just focusing on 2D, like really simple, like sprite-based type games now. Yeah, but SIG it's really fun, but it's sometimes it's frustrating with these things. But I mean, it's often also, I think one of the issues is like you're allowed to do a lot of stuff, but it feels like some of the stuff that you're able to do, you shouldn't ever do. Like, if you get what I'm saying. So, like using those buffers, for example, like, yeah. Let's see. So where is this happening? Set current file name, right? Okay. Wait, no. $272. How do you find Vulkan so far now? Set current file name, yes, file name. Is it the duplication that's the issue, or is it... Yeah. No. So this is this the issue here? This one. This. Oh, the exit. Okay. Nice, simple to understand variables. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I might try it sometime, but this project that I'm working on right now is gonna. I think this is gonna take up a lot of time, and I think I'm gonna focus a lot on this for the time being. But yeah, I think it's really nice to have a new programming language that actually does something different. I mean, it feels like SIG is like, or maybe it feels that way because I have not been programming that much with manual garbage collection and low-level programming that much. And then when you get to, because I've been a web developer for like 10 years, but I always wanted to get into game development, so, and I also self-taught before that in C++, but I haven't done much with that. So, but I have also dabbled a little bit in Haskell and stuff, but SIG is like, SIG is the one language right now that feels like a breath of fresh air in programming languages. That actually comes with something new, it feels like the comp time stuff. Also interested in how you code structs. I usually use functions everywhere, not wrapped in SIG. Yeah. Right. I actually use a lot of structs. I think they're nice. I don't use that much like functions that return structs, because for one, the LSP doesn't know how to handle that very well, so you don't get much help there. And two, it's it's suited for certain things, but you can. I mean, it feels like you can always do it in a different way. So you can always do it like, making a normal struct instead. What I feel nice about structs is like you can define a struct and then you can define the functions on it that is like, that has to do with that type of thing. So I don't know. I find structs to be naturally appealing and to work with, and it makes sense. It also, in my mind, it's like easy to think about. Yeah, this is a cluster of data that's going to be in the memory together also. So, and then you can pass it around and copying it around. I'm not sure if that was the question you asked, but yeah. I feel like SIG is not really that well suited for passing a bunch of functions around. I mean, you can do it. It's just, I mean, trying to use like functional stuff in SIG is sometimes it works, but I just feel it's very clunky, and usually I just solve those kind of stuff with the structs instead, or just doing for loops using these very primitive things to get the job done instead. I don't know if that was the answer to your question, but yeah. Biology background. Okay, nice. Yeah. Are you gonna make like a simulator or something? Like a evolution simulator or something like that? Those are kind of fun. Yes, so why is this? Yeah, so this is like the exit thing. Right, selected entity. Yeah, this is the same issue, I think. Maybe. I don't know, maybe it's not actually, because this is like before. I don't know. Yeah, simple generic simulation over time. Nice. Get monster change, like how giraffe gets longer necks, trees grow taller. Yeah. That's funny. It's like a race. Who can grow tallest the quickest, or I mean, can the trees grow so quick that all the giraffes die? That seems... I mean, it might happen by chance, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun to think about. Okay, yeah, I might just actually call it here. It's a bit late for me here, but and I feel like I can't really do anything. My brain is really mushy right now from all this. I've spent a lot of time trying to solve these weird problems, so I'm just gonna take a break and come back tomorrow. Would the neck length be too costly for giraffes, or giraffes die out first? Yeah. I mean, I guess, does the trees... can the tree die if it loses too much leaves? I guess I don't really know how a tree dies. I guess it's because it doesn't have... it doesn't get like food, or I mean nutrition, I guess. I've actually been looking at like how trees grow, and I was trying to find a video on how a tree like grows, because I wanted to make like a simulation of trees like in different stages of their lifetime, and I couldn't really find a video showing it because it takes so long. So and then there's like 3D animations, but they are not they don't seem realistic, because if you look at how a tree grows, it like the branches stays, well, or wait, no, maybe they don't stay at the same level. I don't know actually. There's like some things stay at the same level, some things get pushed up. I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of interesting, anyway. But I'll just exit this here. We have a bunch of changes. I'm just gonna push it right now. Okay, so where's physiology? The leaves grow in a spiral to prevent light from not getting to the bottom. Their height is dictated by how much water they can pull from the ground. Oh. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I want to grow as tall as possible, right? To get like more sun, and roots need nutrients, so if they hit bedrock, they can't go out. Yeah. Fun guy around this corner. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's actually really interesting. I didn't think about that. I've heard of that, like it cooperates with mushrooms. I guess the mycelium webs or whatever it's called, or roots, or yeah. Okay. We can talk about this for a long time, but yeah, that's really interesting. I was thinking like, yeah, I mean you can do simulations really like super intricate and detailed, but yeah, for my purposes I want to just have it like look good, as like look sort of realistic, well, not realistic, but you know, the sort of main shape of it. It's gonna be pixel art, so it's like it's not gonna be like super realistic, but yeah. Okay, yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Really nice to have you here, and yeah, have a nice day, and maybe I'll see you another time. Bye bye.